What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is the first gameplay video here on the channel. We have myself on the left playing orange-yellow Sett and my friend Rishi on the right playing blue-yellow Viktor. Excuse any weird cards you'll see, like these magic lands for my runes. I don't have enough proxies to make all the decks fully 100% complete. The main decks are fully complete, but I was just kind of grabbing whatever I could for the runes. You'll see my orange runes are some very strange cards. But we do have myself as Sett going first. Very standard turn 1 play for both decks. Going into turn 2, we're going to see what we want to do here with our two battlefields being Altar to Unity and Star-Tipped Peak. Both battlefields being ones that you want to maintain hold control over. So we're going to go ahead and send the Cytheria over to the Star-Tipped Peak, and we're going to play Fiora right into the battlefield. I want to set this up so that I can eventually buff her up, have her gank a little bit. And with the Ravenbloom student and the token, he would have to spend somewhat significant resources in order to clear that battlefield, something like a Siphon Power or maybe something like a Hidden Blade. So let's see what Rishi has here at his disposal. He's looking at the card he drew for turn. He's going to be setting up his two runes in a moment. Does hit his first blue rune, and I did speed up the speed of this gameplay, so that hopefully it didn't drag on too long. So if you like that or don't like that, let me know down in the comments below. He's going to go ahead and float one rune in order to play his seal. Now he's going to be set up on paying those power costs at least once per turn for the rest of the game, which does put him pretty decently ahead. He is playing a very token spam heavy build. His build actually features Baited Hook. I don't think he ends up resolving that card in this particular game, but that is the way this particular Viktor deck is built. So he's thinking about the best way to swing, and he does have the two open, so we might be looking at specifically a Siphon Power play. And if he were to do that, the Ravenbloom student would gain 2, the token would gain 1, so that would be a total of 6 at my 4, I believe. So he would trade into that pretty well, and that does hurt a lot, me being Sett and not having the buff on Fiora, because I am going to save the Cytheria, because it's the only one that I can save, but I do just need my buff generators for various different effects in the deck. So we're going to go ahead and save that there. He'll take his first point of the game at Star-Tipped Peak. That's going to be one that we're definitely both vying for control over, because it's just super value to get all that mana back, especially in Sett where you're using all that mana and recycling all those runes in order to keep your board alive. So we're going to go into our chosen champion, the yellow Sett here. It's going to come into our battlefield, and I'm going to go ahead and go for a showstopper play to get it buffed immediately. Cytheria is also going to gain a buff off this since I played a unit. I'm just going to be a little bit delayed on adding that buff. So this Sett is going right in there for 7, which obviously the token is not going to be able to defend on its own. I did spend a significant amount of runes, though. I recycled a lot of runes to make this play, so hopefully it puts me far enough ahead where I don't regret this in just a minute or two. So we'll see how that goes. Although Rishi did also set himself back 2 runes as well, so we're kind of on a somewhat even playing field here. That Ari he has is not going to be enough to trade into Star-Tipped Peak alone, so we'll see what he has to combo off with it. Maybe he'll just go right over to the altar and start holding there and kind of sort of base race me with points. In this case, I would win the base race because I would be ahead on points until he would answer the Star-Tipped Peak board. He's going to go ahead and pay 4. He's going to go ahead and play Spectral something. I can't remember the specific name of that card, but he is going to bring Ravenbloom student back from the drop, and he's going to go ahead and play a token. So really just doing some setup here, kind of seeing what he can set up to probably try to answer my Star-Tipped Peak location at some point. Altar to Unity would be nice to throw something there, but I understand why he doesn't want to throw Ari there, because he would almost be wasting the -2 that he's probably going to need in order to actually deal with my board over at the Star-Tipped Peak. So he's thinking here. Luckily, we sped this up a little bit so that during the thinking parts of any TCG, it's not going to be dragging on for too long. And it looks like he will go over to the altar, so that's going to be pretty hard for me to answer considering I don't have anything in my battlefield, in my base rather. So we'll see how this goes. Once again, I am winning the base race at this specific point if we do end up just kind of stalemating in both battlefields. But he is building up quite a base that can potentially answer my Star-Tipped Peak control. So we'll see what my best play here looks like. I do get the tapped rune thanks to taking control of Star-Tipped Peak. And this is becoming one of my favorite battlefields in Sett, because Sett is a really good hold deck. Like, it's something that when it does establish control of a battlefield, it's really hard for the opponent to take it over. So getting that constant rune regeneration after using those runes to save my units has been Very, very valuable. I like that effect a lot. We're going to go ahead and drop a Daring Poro into our base, as well as a Pit Rookie. Go ahead and buff the Poro, kind of set up for the next turn. And we'll pass it over to Rishi. Gonna go get his hold point, as well as his token for holding Altar to Unity. Charges 2 here. He does have enough for a Grand Stratagem play. Although Grand Stratagem before you're at 6 points is usually it feels bad to actually try to resolve. We see the baited hook in Rishi's hand, but it's probably not the most optimal play here. Seems like he's going to go right for the Grand Stratagem. I guess it's just what he feels like he has to do in order to actually get over this tank Sett in the battlefield. The good thing for me as a Sett player is I'm going to be able to keep my Sett alive because it's buffed, and obviously that's the card I'm going to prioritize over Cythria. So he's going to go ahead and think about sending in the student and the token, possibly sending in all 3. It's a tough decision because he might want to send some backup over to the Aria location, since I am starting to build a little bit of a battlefield to contest that. So he's sending in, I believe, an 8 and a 6, which is going to be 14. Definitely enough to overwhelm me there. I'm going to go ahead and save the Sett. Cythria is unfortunately going to die. I'm going to trade into the Ravenbloom student. So answering it back on my turn is going to be easy enough, since it's only going to be a 1-cost token. And getting him to use a Grand Stratagem there, you know, we're not playing green. We don't have the ability to just negate Grand Stratagem. So getting him to use it there is going to be pretty good for us in this situation. He's going to go ahead and retreat the Ari. He wants to be able to use the -2 offensively, it seems like. So we're going into our 7-rune turn here. We'll see what our best option looks like. We're going to go ahead and play Kinku Monk. Perfect here now that I have 2 units that need to be buffed. So very, very insane value here. Thinking about what the best option is in terms of where I'm going to send my units, because I want to make sure that I prioritize holding at start to peak. So we're going to go ahead and send the Sett into the start to peak and the Pit Rookie into the Altar to Unity. Obviously, I'm going to prioritize start to peak because that's just way more value for the deck that I'm playing. I don't really care too much about generating the tokens. We're going to go ahead and play First Mate, though, perfectly using all of our resources. And then we're going to restand the Kinku Monk, potentially send it to help defend at one of the locations. First Mate is such an insane card. I personally am on 2 in most of my orange decks because it's not really a 3-drop you want to see early. It's something you'd rather see when you have a combo just like this, where you can set up a play with another unit, potentially play in the same turn, or send a unit up and then retreat it if you want to. And we do drop a Hidden Blade into the start to peak, which is going to basically ensure that we're able to keep that battlefield under control. So really, Rishi will be trying to contest us over at the Altar to Unity if he has the cards to do so. Currently, if he did send in his Spectral unit and his Ari and his token, he would probably take control. I don't remember if at this point I have Call to Glory in my hand, which is the spell that allows you to give a unit +3 and use it for free by spending a buff. But Rishi's going to go ahead and play his Viktor leader from his chosen champion area, so that if any of his units do trade, they're going to at least provide him some value with a token back for his troubles. Going to go ahead and start with the Spectral unit trading into the battlefield. It'll at least take out one of our units here. It's going to take out the Pit Rookie, and I'm going to let that go just in case he has some sort of shenanigans for my Sett in the other battlefield. Thinking on if I want to save the Daring Poro. The answer should probably be yes, because at this point he's not really threatening anything. Like, he could activate a raw Hidden Blade into my Sett over there, but that would leave him pretty vulnerable on defense. So I guess the safest play is just not using the leader effect and preserving that Sett over on the start to peak. And he's going to go ahead and use leader ability to generate a token. and he's going to go ahead and hide a card. It could be the Consult the Past, or it could be Hidden Blade. A little bit tricky there, not knowing which one it could be. Going back up to 7 runes. Let's see what our best scenario is here. Seems like a pretty even game, depending on... Honestly, depending on what that hidden is, seems like it could change a lot. Like, if it's a Hidden Blade, that really, really halts my tempo from being able to go there. But the challenge here, I think, is going to be enough to seal the deal. Because if it is a Hidden Blade now, doesn't really matter. He's going to have to Hidden Blade his own unit to draw 2. And I'm going to be able to get that battlefield for free, put myself to 7. And he's going to have to answer both battlefields in order to try to not lose this game. So we'll see what it is here. He's really just got to use a Hidden Blade there. If it's Consult the Past, it's an easy flip. So yeah, it's going to be Hidden Blade targeting his own unit to get the 2 draws. I mean, best of a worst case scenario there. We're going to go ahead and activate Spoils of War, one of my favorite cards. I feel like every deck has to play their respective Pot of Greed in some form or fashion, because you just need that card draw in this game. I'm pretty sure I'm sitting on a relatively low hand size here, maybe like 3 cards or so. But we are going to move the first mate up to the altar in order to go to our 7th point. And now we're in a pretty good spot because we just need to... Oh, and we kind of just sealed the deal there. I was just saying how we need to basically hold control of both battlefields. And by dropping the second Hidden Blade, because we're certainly not playing Pocket Cub, by dropping the second Hidden Blade, we kind of more or less secure this. I think if he had another Grand Stratagem, he might have a shot here just because of how many tokens he has. But again, because he's not on his win condition, on his win point score, it's going to be a little tough for him to pull off. We do see the Siphon Power in his hand. We don't know if he necessarily has the Grand Stratagem in order to really push this through. And it looks like he's going to go right on in with a Viktor, telling me he probably doesn't have the Grand Stratagem. And with that being the case, actually going to go ahead and Hidden Blade my own guy. I don't remember making this play, but I do remember why, actually, because at that point, I'm reading he doesn't have the stratagem. So my rationale there is I would rather, honestly, just get the 2 draws, try to hit into like Calls of Glory and stuff like that, and preserve the start to peak, because that's all I need to win. I don't need to actually preserve the altar to Unity in order to actually win this game. So he's going to actually resolve the baited hook at the end of this game. He's going to go ahead and get rid of his Viktor leader, trying to find anything in order to help him contest the start to peak. But I don't think he's going to quite get there with this top 5. He finds another Spectral unit, looking into his trash to see what he could possibly bring back. It's going to be the Ari. Yeah, and I think this was definitely just a big difference between Grand Stratagem and not having it. So yeah, the Siphon of Power there, it's not going to quite be enough to get there. Although the Hidden Blade, I think, would have more or less secured my win. And even if he did have the Grand Stratagem there, I think I would have been in a good spot just because I would have had units in my base in order to try to win on the clapback. So overall, really good game. I think both decks got the opportunity to showcase what they were able to do. Sett does pull it out here in the end. Once again, sorry for my weird runes, but if you guys like the game, definitely let me know in the comments below. I do have some more gameplay to upload from Gencon and some other stuff from Gencon as well. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.